Yes, we are not live.
Great, thank you very much. Hello, everyone. My name is Ted Doan, Chair of the Point Pleasant Park Advisory Committee. The time is 4:31 p.m. I'm just going to start the meeting with the land acknowledgement. The Halifax Regional Municipality is located in Mi'kma'ki, the ancestral and traditional lands of the Mi'kmaq people. The municipality acknowledges the peace and friendship treaties signed in this territory and recognizes that we are all treaty people. Now, I'll begin with a roll call just to see who's in attendance and to make sure everybody's AV is working. So as I call your name, if you can just give a chance to respond so we can make sure that's working, that would be great. So I'll start with Michelle.
I'm here. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Michelle. And Miles?
Present.
Dinah?
Right here.
And I believe we have Spencer.
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah, and we have regrets from Councillor White, regrets from Sam McDougall.
Sorry, we have Elena has just joined us.
Oh, hi, Elena. Can you hear us okay? We're just calling out roll call. We don't hear you. Okay. Anyways, if you get a chance to respond, that would be great. We'll give just two more chances there.
She's commented that she can't unmute for some reason. She's working on it.
Okay. Anyways, we'll keep going. The next item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes. So the last meeting was September 4th, and that was 2025. So I'll just ask now if anybody on the committee has any edits from the minutes that were circulated. Okay, so hearing none, I'll ask if there's a mover and seconder to approve the minutes.
I can move.
Okay.
I can second it.
Okay,
Michelle.
wonderful. Okay, thanks. So Miles has moved and Michelle seconded that the minutes of September 4th, 2025 of the Point Pleasant Park Advisory Committee meeting be approved as presented. Call for any questions. So in hearing none, I'll ask for approval of the minutes. So raise your hand or signify that you approve the minutes. Great, so the minutes are approved. So the next item is the approval of the order of business and approval of additions and deletions to the order of business. So I'll now move on to this and I'll ask our legislative assistant, are there any changes to today's agenda?
Yes, thank you, Chair. Yeah, we have a change. Item 9.2.2 will be deleted from the agenda.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. So I'd now like to move that the agenda be approved as presented with that one change. So I need a mover and a seconder for that.
I'll move that that's excellent.
So I have Dinah moving.
I can second it.
Thanks, Spencer. Spencer second as a seconder. And so now call for any questions. Seeing none, I'll ask that anybody or all members in approval of the motion raise their hands or signify that they approve. Great, so that's a motion carried. Business arising out of the minutes, there's none. I'll now call for a declaration of conflict of interest. So if anybody has a conflict of interest to declare as a result of the items on today's agenda, please respond. I'll just pause for a minute to see if there's any. Okay, seeing that there's no declarations of interest, we'll just proceed as normal. So the next item on the agenda is consideration of deferred business. There's none. Correspondence, I'll ask our clerk, has any correspondence been received?
No correspondence was received from the clerk's office.
Great, thank you. Any petitions to be presented?
Also, we have no petitions received from the clerk's office.
Any presentations?
None.
And how about information items brought forward?
None.
Okay, and that will take us then into reports, agenda item number 9. And so Adam, I know that you're in attendance, so I'll ask Adam Cornick, who's Superintendent Parks West. He'll speak to the committee about the operations memo that was previously circulated. So Adam, that's over to you.
Hey, thanks, Ted.
So not a whole lot has changed since the last time I chatted with you guys. We're pretty much doing the same things throughout the park with our, daily litter collection, road and drainage maintenance. The grass mowing has ended. That contract ended on October 24th. So all our operations for mowing across the municipality ends on October 24th with our contractors. So that's one thing that has changed. We're continuing on with repairing and painting of benches, picnic tables, and litter bins. That kind of stuff continues on like throughout the year. And then what you'll probably see mostly around Point Pleasant Park is leaf blowing and cleanup. So we're doing a fair amount of that, trying to clear out the drainage ditches and things like that so they don't overflow. So that's what we're mostly doing now. One thing that has changed is our staffing levels. So on October 31st of every year, our seasonal staff, their term basically comes to an end. So we just go back to 5 staff within the park. They're not just doing Point Pleasant Park, they're responsible for doing various other parks throughout the municipality. So they're also doing Hemlock Ravine, the Dingle, Shaw Wilderness, Linear Trail, and are also helping out with Camp Hill and the cemeteries and supporting some civic events and things like that. So through Special Events Task Force. So that 5-unit team becomes a very busy team once the seasonals end. So they're a busy bunch at this time of year. We're also getting ready for our plowing operations, which unfortunately, winter's right around the corner. Whether you like winter or not, I'm not sure, but it's right there. So we'll be getting our plows and things like that ready to go for our winter operations, clearing in the parks. So they won't be just doing Point Pleasant Park. They also span out and do various other parking lots and parks throughout the municipality. What else do I have for you guys? So some of our projects that we had going this year, we were doing some restoration to the stone wall. We did a little bit of work there. That's not done yet. They got a small bit more work left to do there. We will be installing 2 AED machines in the upper and lower parking lot. We won't be, Parks isn't necessarily installing them. We're working with a group to install them, and they will be maintaining and monitoring them. One thing that we'll also be doing, that you'll notice this in the lower parking lot, we'll be installing, I think, 2 or 3 EV charging stations. So that kind of supports our environmental and sustainability initiative throughout the municipality. So you'll see those going into the lower parking lot. There's similar ones. I don't know if you guys have been down to the Dingle. You'll see 2 charging stations down there. They'll be very similar to those. So something to watch out for. I know this just got removed from the agenda, but I can speak on it a little bit, was the washroom servicing and the maintenance schedule. So I know Donna had that on her list, so I can just talk briefly about that now. So that doesn't fall to parks operations. It does fall to facilities. But I did have our contract supervisor reach out to their contract supervisor, and they're going to be looking into making sure that we are getting the right amount of cleanings. If we need more cleanings. Also, we're going to be looking into some things like having a periodic shutdown once a year so we can actually get a deep clean on these and actually get some painting done. I do think it was a valid point, Donna, and I appreciate you for raising that. So, yeah, that's all I have. Happy to answer any questions if anybody got any.
Great. Thank you, Adam. So I'll start with Dinah. Oh, you're on mute.
Yeah, I was just trying to unmute myself. Yeah, thanks, Adam. Yeah, I took it off the agenda because I felt like it was more of a question rather than a whole agenda item. Couple of questions. What's an AED machine that's being installed?
It's like the defibrillators for
okay.
safety measures.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Safety things. Okay. And who funds the install of the EV chargers? Where's the budget for that come from?
That comes out of environment and climate change's budget. They do that.
So that's separate from any Point Pleasant Park budget?
Yeah, that wouldn't come out of our budget. That would come out of a different department's budget.
Right. And they just came in and said, guess what?
Yeah, they're
getting this.
Basically, they look for sites all around the city to do this in, especially on like municipal land. So you'll see it, like, obviously I've just mentioned Sir Sanford Fleming. They have 2 down there, so they put some down there.
Yeah.
Bell Road, that's one of our depots. They're trying to put some down there. Like, they're always looking for sites, new sites to put these at. So
okay,
their initiative, right?
And on the bathroom thing, I know that a few years ago, I think probably pre-COVID, there was like the maintenance was spotless. I mean, there was even a little sign-up sheet every day on the door, and the cleaner who cleaned it signed and initialed, and there was a place for public to make comments. That kind of went by the wayside. And I mean, it's not just not being clean, but you know, it's pretty gross in there oftentimes. And I have called 311 several times, and I just thought that maybe as a committee, if it was, you know, if we could just, you know, address it and say, listen, we're very concerned, because there's so many events now that get held at the park, you know, between Terry Fox runs and school, you know, long distance runs, and, you know, you name it. And there's tons of, you know, weddings and family things. And I think the states of the washrooms are really awful.
Yeah, they definitely need some extra attention, put it that way. And
Yeah.
we're working on it on our end, and we're hoping to get that up to a better standard.
Yeah, so I was going to just say, if as adding the name of the committee has discussed it and are not pleased, if that helps get somebody to pay more attention in there, that would be very
Yeah, it's on my radar now, and
okay.
I don't usually drop things, so
No,
we'll get it taken care of.
great, because I'll be back. All right, thanks so much, Adam. Appreciate that.
No problem. Thank you.
Thanks, Dinah. Elena, did you have any questions?
Can you hear me?
We do, yeah.
Okay, perfect. I had one and it's on tip of my tongue, so maybe come back to me at the end.
Okay, I'll come back to you at the end. I'll put it out to Spencer. Do you have any questions?
Like not so much like a really like serious question, but like kind of just like just curiosity. But like how like what does like the snow clearing plan look like for the park in the winter? Like I'm just curious.
The snow clearing plan, basically,
Yeah.
we do all the main roads, but
Okay.
yeah. So I don't know if that really answers the question. Like kind of the thing is about plowing these roads is they're not pavement, right? So you can't clear right down to the gravel or it'll tear everything up. So you need a base of snow and almost that to freeze first to get that good base, and then you can plow over the top of that. So yeah, so that's kind of what we do. We clear the main roads, and we do the best we can to make it usable in the winter for everybody.
Cool. I was just like curious, so thank you.
Yeah.
Great, thanks, Spencer. Miles, did you have any questions?
Yes. First of all, I was pleased to see about the AED stations, but my question more is focused on the EV charging. I'm hearing a lot that they're trying to increase the number. Is there opportunity to get them in the upper parking lot or more in the lower parking lot, taking advantage of opportunity? I'm just wondering.
Potentially, not really a question I'm really great at answering, because it's outside my area of expertise, right? So I guess, yes, there would be opportunities to put them in the upper parking lot and maybe more in the lower parking lot, but it would have to we'd have to reach out to Environment and Climate Change to see what they think, and where, you know.
Yeah.
Sometimes it comes down to budget too. Like maybe I'm not sure why they only designated 3 spots or 2 or 3 spots. I can't remember what it is now, but maybe that just came down to budget, right? So
good. And Adam, I also appreciate the extra efforts. You know, if we're looking at regarding washrooms, since I agree with everything that's been said so far, where it used to be one way and what it is like now, if we could go back to where we were, I think that would be a huge thing. So I appreciate moving forward. So thank you very much.
no problem. Thanks, Miles.
Thanks, Miles. Michelle.
No, I think I'm okay. Definitely support having cleaner washrooms. And great to see the EV chargers there, that's for sure. But yeah, no other issues, I don't think.
Okay, thanks, Michelle. Hey, Wanda, did you have a question?
Yes, I remembered it. I was curious about whether there was any impact of the drought in the park, the drought that we just finished.
Any impact in drought? Not particularly. I mean, same kind of impacts you'd see everywhere else with low water levels and things like that. But we've had a fair amount of rain and stuff recently, so that's kind of brought everything to life in there. So, and this time of year as well, like you're like a lot of stuff, you're not going to see a lot of green and things like that. So I mean, it's we didn't see huge impacts in there.
That's fair. I am curious. I saw in the written part, your memorandum, that there's forest health initiatives, and I was just curious what you meant by that.
Forest health initiatives, basically the removal of invasive species and things like that.
Okay, that was
So
what you
that-
meant, the flora and whatnot.
Yeah, deflora and all that stuff. Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah, no problem.
Great. Thank you. I had a few questions as well. And just with respect to the drought, so when we were in the drought, we weren't able to do any cutting back of snags and so on, which was recommended to avoid wildfires. Is there any plan? I think I saw something in the report talking about cutting back, in the woods. Are there areas that you're clearing of snags?
Yeah, we're always actively doing it. I don't know any exact areas that they're in. They're doing it right now, but I mean, they're always kind of looking for ones, and if they see one, they'll go in and clear it.
Spencer was asking about the snow plowing. So I assume that would be the same plan as last year. Would that be
Yeah,
right?
exact
Pretty
plan.
similar?
Yeah.
Okay. And I always find too, like if people have been walking on the trails for too long before the plowing occurs, it can often kind of disrupt kind of the good plowing, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
just something to keep in mind, because probably the earlier they get in there, the better. You mentioned cutting back on the invasive species. Is there timing for that?
Is there timing of when
Yeah,
we would do
yeah,
it?
yeah. When you're going to do that?
Yeah, I mean, we're kind of doing it all year long. This time of year, we wouldn't do much of it. It'd be more so in the summer season, but we do a little bit of it, but not a lot this time of year. So.
And you mentioned leaf blowing as well. So there was a letter received, somebody raising concerns about the noise and so on from the leaf blowing. I'm just wondering, like, how long does that process usually take, and what do you do to kind of minimize disruption for people who use the park?
Yeah, it's kind of ongoing all this time of year during the fall. So, I mean, I understand that, they are noisy and loud, and we do have some EV ones that we use, but the one thing about the EV ones is they are quite heavy. So if anybody has any back issues and you're using one of those all day, you may not come to work the next day because you had that on your back all day, right? So anybody that has back issues can't really use them. So some people do use the gas powered ones just for those reasons, right? Just health and safety concerns. So
I'm just wondering if you could talk about some of the positive aspects of using the leaf blowers, just for anybody who might be interested,
the positive aspects.
as opposed to not doing it. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're clearing up. Like, one thing is safety reasons. You don't want too many leaves all over the trail, so you kind of want to blow those off and give like ground footing for everybody to use. Then also for drainage, so you want to blow them outside your drainage areas so it doesn't clog up. So, this time of year we do get a large amount of rain. So if you're not blowing the leaves and you're not clearing them into areas, then there is potential for that it could flood and things like that. So that's a couple of the reasons why we do those.
Adam, you had a list in the memo that you circulated, and it was the initiatives for 2025. Do you have a list of the initiatives that are planned for 2026? Is that something?
No, we don't. Not right yet. We can circulate that, probably those in our next meeting potentially.
Okay.
I think our next meeting might be in January, so we can look at doing that then.
Yeah, I think there'd certainly be interest from the committee on initiatives planned and any capital projects as well. Like you talked about the stone walls, things like that, things that are planned to, keep the park upgraded.
Yeah, generally, I mean, generally, like we run April to April in our budget season, right? So, and for the most part, this time of year, where parks is a seasonal operation, we, by this point, most of our budget's spent, and we're getting ready for fall and getting ready for snow clearance season. So, come next January or January coming, we'll be starting to look into what we're going to do for next season. But for the most part, like we will be doing some some of the wall restoration. Like we'll do a little bit of them. Like it's limited in what we can do. Like, you know, we can do $10,000, $15,000 worth of stone repairs, but that's not very much, right? So, yeah. But yeah, we can get that for you.
You think about when those stone walls were built, the city was a much smaller city, and they were able to kind of build them. And I know that they got the stone right out of the park itself. They quarried it from the park, so it's kind of a unique feature in the park. And I hate to lose it. And also the summer houses and keeping those maintained as well. And also when it comes to planning, like I think there's a lot of value in thinking ahead of, you know, of park planning. So thinking not just, you know, the upcoming year, but thinking what's going to happen in, you know, maybe the next 2, 3 years or 5 years in the park around some of the capital projects or features in the park that will need attention. So just something to think about. I'd love to hear more about that.
Yeah, I can.
From the city in the future.
Yeah, I mean, I'll check with our capital team and see what they got on the horizon. If they do have anything coming up, I can get them to give a little presentation to you guys next year, just on what might be upcoming.
Oh, Dinah's got a question.
Can I just jump in here too? Since another point that I forgot to bring up though was we've talked on the committee about signage and you know, the lack of signage in certain places, and it came up recently with Nocturne. One of the Nocturne events was held at the park, and on the Nocturne map it said it was going to be at the summer house on Cedar, I think it said Cedar Road, Cedar Path or Cedar Road or whatever. Now, summer house, number one, I've never called a gazebo a summer house, but if it's a summer house, but I'm thinking a lot of the public might go summer house, you know, looking for a house. But am I correct? There's 2 gazebos, 2 summer houses in the park, and one is on Cedar Road or Path or whatever. Not one sign was there to show anybody who's not a regular park goer how to get to that venue. And that was a Nocturne event. And I thought, you know, that's kind of you know, it's another reason why there should really be good signage. And plus, you know, if there was a safety thing and somebody, old lady like me, you know, passes out at a crossroads of 2 paths and there's no sign to say where you are. In the future planning budget, does the money for you know, new signage, new road path markers, would that come out of the operating budget, or where did that come from?
That will come out of our operating budget. I can certainly put it on my list to look into if we need more signage there. Any kind of event or anything like that, if they're directing a person to, like, say, the summer house or the gazebo, whatever you want to call it, they should have their own signage pointing people in the right direction, because it is that should be something that they
but as I said, if you're going for a walk and you're going, oh, I wonder where that is, and you look at all the maps in the park, there was no map for that particular. I'm still not. I guess it's that little road that runs in front of the summer house. Near Black.
But when Ian gets back, I can have him look into all the signage in the park and see if we should add more.
Okay. That was my last point. Thanks.
Great. Thank you. And I'll just go back. Are there any kind of final questions from anybody on the committee? Michelle, did you have a question?
Sorry, I didn't realize I was muted. Wasn't there, someone has more history at the park than I do, but I thought that there was in the past several years, like a big review of signage and how much signage they wanted to have and how they wanted it designed, and not to have proliferation of signage. That was my understanding, that there were a lot of discussions going on about those sort of issues. Is there someone that with a longer history that on the committee that might know? Because I have concerns about signs as well, but that's part of where I'm not sure where to turn about signs and the whole debate over it, because some of them have changed and they're not exactly accurate anymore. So is there anyone with any kind of corporate knowledge?
Not really, in terms of the history of it and where, and you know, if they did a sign review and what they determined from that, I'd have to go and ask some questions on that one for you and get back to you. I mean, from our standpoint, from a park standpoint, you're always kind of, traversing that line is we need to have adequate signage so that people can get around the park and find their way. But also you don't want to have too many signs that it looks like sign clutter, right? So, that's the kind of game that we're always playing. But I mean, at the end of the day, safety is paramount. So we need to make sure that, if there is a way to get to a person, or if the person gets lost in there, they need to find their way out of there. So, I think it'll basically involve us doing an internal review ourselves to see if the signage within the park is adequate and we should add any here. I think that should be done every few years anyway.
And what is the process with signage? And maybe I shouldn't be asking you, but if I shouldn't be asking you, feel free to tell me to go bug someone else. But how does that work? If you have a concern about a sign at the park, or a missing sign, or the way a sign is positioned or something, what's the process for that?
Yeah, it's me generally, or Ian.
Okay.
The process to kind of get it taken care of, and the quickest process is essentially call 311 or email me. And the best thing to do is give me a map of where the sign is located and what the particular concern is. And then I can send somebody out to actually have a look at it, see, is it correct? Does it make sense? I mean, based on the rules that we have, right? It's the best way to go about it.
Right. Okay, appreciate that. Thank you for the clarity.
No problem.
Great. Thanks, Michelle. Anybody else? Okay, that's great. Thank you, Adam. The next item is the meeting schedule for next year. So in the package, we had circulated the proposed 2026 meeting schedule. So I'm just looking for a mover and seconder to approve that schedule. So do I have a
can
mover?
move.
Thanks, Elena. So it's moved by you. And seconder?
I can second.
Thank you, Miles. So the motion that the Point Pleasant Park Committee approve the proposed 2026 Point Pleasant Park Advisory Committee meeting schedule is outlined in the staff memorandum. So I would ask for any questions. Okay, hearing none. Everybody in favor of the motion, please raise your hand or signify that you approve. Okay, so we'll take that as being motion carried. So thank you very much. The next item on the agenda is a committee member update. So I wanted to do an update, and this would be on the role of the committee in relation to the Point Pleasant Park Comprehensive Plan. So it's really about the role of the committee, and I'm just getting into one aspect of it. And I think there's probably further discussions that we can build off of this as well, because the Point Pleasant Park Comprehensive Plan was, I think, issued in 2008. There's a lot of information in there that's been guiding HRM and this committee kind of in our actions and kind of what happens in the park from an operational perspective and planning perspective. But it's really good for us to kind of revisit that. And I think everybody should keep that awareness of kind of this plan and what's in there. It's very thick. It's the printed document is an inch thick. The online version is quite extensive, but it is available to everybody online and available to the public as well. And so what I'd like to do is just do this presentation. I'll put it up for questions, and maybe we can talk about what the next steps would be for the committee around keeping the comprehensive plan kind of in our view, and making sure that we're aware of kind of the reports that should be generated as a result of this plan, and what our interaction should be with the city staff with respect to the plan as well. So I'm just let me see if I can do this and share the document. Okay, does everybody see that okay?
Yep.
Okay, okay, that's great. So I'll get started. So really it is just a discussion on our role as a committee, governance and collaboration. And that is the agenda for the presentation. So really I wanted to give a quick overview and significance of Point Pleasant Park. The purpose of the presentation, clarification of the committee roles, really is this is just to clarify our role and the importance of our role in the city operations.
Ted, I don't think
Yeah.
your slides are going forward. We're still on the title slide.
Oh, okay. They're going forward here. That's
Yeah, we're just looking at the title.
maybe I'll stop sharing and I'll have the clerk share this instead.
Sure, I'll jump on that now.
Okay.
Okay, come.
That's great. If you could put that in kind of in the sharing mode too, in presentation mode. That looks great. Okay, thank you very much.
So let me just know by
Yeah, if you
saying next slide. Yep.
Yeah, if you can go back to where I was, that would be great. I think you need to go back to the beginning.
Okay, so let me.
Yeah, no rush.
Okay. Can we also see the screen now?
Oh, that looks great. Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's the beginning. If you go to the next slide, please. And next slide. And next slide. Okay, so this is, yeah, so this really is a presentation, just talk about our role and our importance in city operations, talk about our responsibilities to be, effective in our collaboration with the city staff, and looking at the expectations for reporting and communications between the advisory committee and city staff. And that one's interesting. So I haven't gone into tremendous detail on that in this presentation, but I think that might be a great discussion for a further meeting. Because what's in the comprehensive plan and kind of what we see in practice is a little bit different, and it could be just the evolution of time has kind of changed those things. So it might be a further discussion with Adam and team, kind of what's presented and what could be presented to this committee based on what our needs and expectations are. So if you can go to the next slide, that would be good. So next, I'd just like to talk about the different partners who are involved in park management. And there may be others that I missed here, but certainly there's community organizations who have an interest in the park. They volunteer their time and they're kind of local stewards for the park. There's government departments in the city who are involved and they're managing the regulations and conservation policies and funding for park sustainability and protection. And also the indigenous communities, as the Mi'kmaq First Nations, play a vital role in preserving the cultural heritage and managing the natural resources in the park. So if you can go to the next slide, please. This is really just leading up to a discussion on governance structure of the Point Pleasant Park. Go next, please. And so what I like to do is just talk about ownership and the leasehold details. So some of this, a lot of you would be familiar with, but there is some ownership by the federal government. They own property managed by Parks Canada to ensure the preservation and public access. There's the leasehold that the city has. So they hold the lease and they're responsible for the local management and maintenance of the park. And then there's the collaborative administration. So the Halifax administers the property with guidance from the Point Pleasant Park Advisory Committee to support community interests. So that's really what we're interested in. Next slide. This is just talking about the mandate of the advisory committee. So next slide, please. So really, when you're talking about the Point Pleasant Park Advisory Committee, our established purpose was created by the city to advise on the direction, management, and evolution of the park. And that's pretty broad, so it could speak to a lot of things. And really, we're volunteers, so we're appointed by Regional Council to serve the community as members of the Point Pleasant Park Advisory Committee. Next slide, please. So I'd like to talk about mandate, stewardship, and liaison functions. So advisory role is really, we're looking for a great balance of skill sets on this committee and some expertise where we can provide advice on the park's direction, management, and future development in the advisory role that we have. So nice that we have the committee that we do have, and really appreciate the questions that we receive from folks. There's the stewardship and sustainability. So that's promoting stewardship and sustainable practices to preserve the park's natural resources. And then the liaison function. So we're really that intermediary connecting the public with the park's managing authorities. Next slide, please. Our key responsibilities for the committee. Next slide. So if you look at our key responsibilities as a committee, I'll just go, there's 2 slides with these. I'll go through them. The first bullet there is to advise the municipality on the management and evolution of the park. The next one for us is to apply the highest standards in all aspects of park stewardship. The next one is to assist in preparing and implementing the master plan, the management plan, and the operational plan. And I think that needs some further discussion just to understand what was envisioned in the comprehensive plan around what each of those are and what they could look like to us as a committee. Because I'm not even sure myself kind of what each one of those would be. And the next item is to monitor implementation of the master plan, the management plan, operational plan, to solicit public input and communicate plans and decisions to the public about the plan's implementation. And I think that's really important, is the piece to solicit public input. And I think that's an important role for us, is to receive that input, because we are supporting the public in the role that we have. Okay, the next slide, please. And this one, to monitor the regular park operations regarding ecological management practices, to advise on park-related bylaws and regulations, and to perform ceremonial functions. Next slide, please. And just other input, and these are just some other items from the plan, is providing input to ensure effective execution of the plan for park management, advising on operational practices focusing on ecological sustainability and cultural resource protection, and soliciting and communicating community feedback to incorporate public views into park decision making. So that goes back to the whole soliciting input from the public. Next slide, please. So this is on the reporting from city staff. So next slide. There'd be, or would normally be, an annual report from city staff that's prepared on Point Pleasant Park, that's provided to the committee. A comprehensive plan. So there's reports that include updates on the implementation progress of comprehensive plan for the park. And that could be the similar to the one that we received last year, on the Point Pleasant Park comprehensive plan. There's the reports that cover forest management, ecological monitoring, and cultural resource updates within the park. And then regular updates on the maintenance projects, capital improvements, budget status, and the public feedback are also included. Next slide. We have regular meetings, reports, and there's transparency to the public with respect to that. So I'll go to the next slide. We get updates on the project maintenance, which we would have just had. Those are regular for each of our meetings, just to keep everybody informed. We'd normally be getting incident safety reports to ensure awareness and prompt action, any kind of visitor data and feedback to improve service and address concerns, or also committee decisions and recommendations to discuss issues requiring our input and reviewing progress on previous recommendations. And so that is done as part of our regular meetings on that item. Next slide, please. And then there's collaboration between the committee and city staff. So next slide, please. So the committee would normally carefully review staff reports and offer constructive feedback to improve outcomes. We provide feedback on priorities and actions to guide projects and organizational focus. And we're advocates for necessary resources and encourage public engagement to support initiatives. Next slide, please. And just in summary, so the advisory committee is essential in preserving and managing the park effectively. And from a governance perspective, clear governance and active community engagement will help ensure the park's sustainable future. So as I said, so this is kind of the end of what I have from a presentation. So you could remove the presentation, and maybe we'll just kind of speak to this as a committee. And what I'm thinking is really this is kind of the start, I think, of some further discussions we could have around the comprehensive plan, our role, and kind of what our expectations are as a committee around this. And so what I'd like to do is, I'm sure many of you have questions on this or comments, and I'm just going to go through and I'll give everybody a chance to speak to it. So Dinah, did you want to lead off? Did you have any questions or comments?
Yeah, I do. Thank you for that, because as a new committee member, I did, read the comprehensive plan and had some sense of what our role was, but I must say I felt a little bit frustrated and a little, what's the word, useless, because I felt like we really didn't have any input or say. And from what you've just shared with us, I mean, it would be interesting to see some budget updates and some reports about, from the city on their plans for the park, so that we can be the public liaison that we're supposed to be. Because I really do feel like we hear about, things that happen sort of after the fact. And, that doesn't leave a lot of room for, having an advisory say per se. And the other thing that I would like to mention is that after we had Peter Dunker come and do his presentation on the report that he was part of writing, I think we ended up agreeing as a committee that that report, being so old, really needs to have now a revamp, to look at where are we now, what has been done, what still needs to be done. Obviously, things have changed in that time frame, and so some things that are in the report probably, can be removed or modified or taken out. So I'd like to see the committee maybe working more towards looking at, Peter Dunker himself said that he would be happy to be part of the execution of taking that old comprehensive report and revamping it for 2025 or 2026, so that we actually have a document that we can refer to that's more up to date.
I tend to agree with you. I think we need to be focused on the long-term sustainability of the park and its future. And the comprehensive plan was excellent, but I agree that it needs to be updated as well.
Just a note there, some of the stuff in the comprehensive plan about the role of the committee isn't really up to date or correct. So some of the stuff there involving budget and that kind of thing wouldn't necessarily come to you guys, just so you're aware. We should really update the terms of service, I guess, so they're better, so everybody's better aware. So some of that information isn't necessarily accurate, but anyway, we can address that at a later date. Just want to give you guys kind of all that information.
And I'm glad you raised that point, Adam. So I actually have some areas, and I'll let everybody speak to this as well, but there's kind of 3 areas I thought would be good for further discussion in the future. Is one would be following up on the action items, in the comprehensive plan. So maybe we could do some analysis and then come back to city staff and talk about where we are with respect to some of those. The other one would be talking about the reporting that should come to the committee and when, and I think that ties into what you're just talking about now. So, what aspects of what we see in the comprehensive plan and kind of what's evolved since should be coming to the committee, and how does that come to us?
Because a lot of that was taken from when it was a commission, right? So a lot of those responsibilities were the responsibilities of the commission, which isn't necessarily the committee, right? So it wasn't necessarily accurate when it was done. Like when they did the comprehensive plan and outlined what the committee would be.
Yeah, and I think that's
necessarily where it should be, right? So
I think that's what Dinah's getting at is really, it does need to be updated, and that's just reflects a reflection that the plan is outdated and isn't kind of meeting the needs of this committee or perhaps the park users as well.
I don't see a new plan coming anytime soon, just so everybody's aware of that too. So
well, perhaps from the first item I talked there about the action items, I think that might identify if there was a greater need or not. So we could leave that to a further discussion at a later meeting. And then the other one is, determining how we gain feedback from park users. I think that would be interesting to discuss that with city staff too, to figure out what our role could be in that, and what kind of responsibility the city could take in trying to petition for some feedback from park users. So those were the kind of the areas I thought about. Elena, did you have any comments?
I had a few questions about the presentation, Ted.
Mhm.
I noticed that there was a part where you said that visitor statistics are collected, and I was just curious how that's conducted at the park.
Yeah, I'm not sure that's even happening. So
Yeah.
this would just be pieces that are coming out of the comprehensive plan. So yeah, and that would be that part of that follow-up is to look at what kind of action items are in the plan and what ones have actually been implemented and what's still outstanding.
And then I also was curious about when that annual report is typically presented to the committee.
And I'll put that to Adam. Adam, did you have any
The
response to
annual
that?
report. Well, we kind of give you an operations report every meeting.
Yeah.
There was a operations plan that went to council a number of years ago, and it basically outlined a series of like forest thinnings and those kind of things that we will be doing. We can give you an update on that next time. We're well ahead of that plan though. Like we're almost a year ahead of that plan and where it was projected. And a lot of this stuff too, like I think committee terms are 2 years, right? So some of this stuff like gets done on previous committees, and then the new committee comes along and then they're not really informed about what happened with the last committee members, right? So that's a lot of it too, where you see a disconnect. It's just like
I feel if the committee was involved at the planning process and with our input as these things were being developed, it could add some value too. And so there may be some other reporting that could be coming to committee in the future that would be useful. So it might be worth some further discussion. Okay, Spencer, did you have any questions? Oh, we may have lost Spencer there. Oh, he's struggling with his
He said he's
microphone.
still struggling.
Okay, I'll come back to you, Spencer. Miles, did you have any questions?
No, I don't. Where I'm new, I don't have any questions, but I think it's a golden opportunity. Like the notes I made here with regarding whether it be operational plan, etc., to promote, to promote and to gain input, I think is critical for us in terms of communicating both sustainability. So any opportunity we have to see and be part of will fit promoting input, sustainability, advising, so we can check a lot of things off. But for me, I think it's important that I'm not aware of what happened in the past, so I don't even have anything to reference from, say, what happened 2 years ago and where we're going in the future. So I think it's a golden opportunity for us, and I look forward to moving forward and hearing more about it.
Yeah, great, thank you. Michelle?
No, I think that I'm really glad that you put this forward. I think that there's, I came on and kind of knew that I'm hoping that I will get renewed. My term will get renewed. I had the 1-year position, and mine's one of the ones that's up for renewal. And I plan to send in my application today. But so I've kind of kept my head down and just trying to learn and not ask too many uncomfortable questions. But what I see from a communications perspective is that we're being told that the document that you've reviewed, that we feel like we're being led by, is not accurate or up to date or what have you. And I feel like there's a lot of one-way communication where we already know that our hands are free.
Oh, you just cut out on us there. Oh, I think we lost Michelle. I'll just put it back. Spencer, I know you. Oh, Michelle, are you there? We just lost your feedback. Do you hear us okay? Okay, I'll come back to you, Michelle, in a minute. Spencer? How's your technology? No, we're having some technical difficulties. Michelle, I'll just go back to you.
Spencer said in the chat that he has no questions.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Alana. And Michelle, did you have anything further? Okay. Okay. I will move on to the next agenda item. So thank you everybody for the feedback. The next item is added items, so there's none. That's agenda item 10. Number 11 is the date of the next meeting, which is January 15th of next year. And I'll now call for somebody to motion the adjournment of the meeting.
I'll move that the meeting be adjourned.
Thanks, Donna. Great. Thanks, everybody. Nice seeing everyone.
Take care, all.
Bye.
Bye.
See you soon. Bye-bye.
Take care.